3 weeks into a program, not seeing dramatic results, starting to feel a bit bored, and suddenly the program is fucking wrong. Suddenly it's not optimal. Suddenly you found a better one. Sound familiar? Because that's not research. That's quitting with extra steps. This video is about one of the most common and most costly things people do in the gym. Not dangerous, not dramatic, just quietly, persistently sabotaging your progress. We're talking about program hopping. The cycle of starting something, sticking with it just long enough to get past the initial soreness, and then losing interest right around the time that, it should actually start working. And then jumping to the next thing, and then doing it again and again. For years, sometimes. I've seen people do this for 5, 6, 7 years, in the gym consistently, genuinely trying, genuinely putting in the effort, and looking almost identical to when they first fucking started. Not because they're not working hard. I mean, these people are enthusiastic. As I said, they're putting in the work. But because they keep stopping before the work that they're putting in has the actual time to produce any kind of, real results. The fitness industry loves this behavior, by the way. Every new program is a fucking sale. But you see, this video is not a sale. I'm not selling you anything. It's the truth. And the truth is, you almost certainly don't need a new program. You just need to finish the one that you're on now. Let me walk you through the program hopping cycle in detail, because I want you to, recognize it within yourself. Not to feel bad, but because recognition is the first step to stopping the cycle. Week 1. New program. Everything's fresh. You're sore in places you haven't been sore in a while, which feels productive, because if you're sore, you must be doing something. The movements are slightly unfamiliar, which keeps you engaged. You're logging your sessions. You're looking forward to it. Motivation is fucking high. Weeks 2 and 3. You're still going. Soreness has kind of settled down. You're getting the movements down, and sessions start to feel a bit more controlled. You're making small improvements in weights or reps, but the novelty is starting to fade. It's starting to feel a little bit repetitive. You're not noticeably different in the mirror yet. Week 3, or maybe even 4, you've been absorbing all kinds of fitness videos from fitness influencers, and you see this new type of training, this new program. Or maybe someone posts about their program that they're doing on Facebook. Or maybe you're out one night and someone explains about a new program that they're doing that is literally the best thing since fucking sliced bread. And as you get an understanding for this new program, it starts to get very interesting. It seems more interesting, more optimized. There's better exercises, better structure. You start to rationalize. Maybe the current program that you're on isn't quite right for your goals. Maybe you've already got what you could get from the current program. So you continue to do a bit of research on this new program, and you start to get, excited. And then you convince yourself that this new program is the one for you, and then you switch, and the cycle starts again. From week 1. This is why you never reach, week 8, week 12, week 16, the point where adaptations have compounded enough to be visible, the point where strength gains have accumulated into something real, the point where the program actually delivers what it was meant to deliver. You always seem to leave just before the results arrive. Every fucking time. Now, people switch programs because they don't really understand what adaptation looks like from the inside while it's happening. And look, listen, it's not your fault. There aren't a lot of people who explain it. When you start a new program, the initial gains that you experience are largely neurological. Your nervous system is learning new movements, firing the right muscles in the right sequence, improving coordination, getting more efficient at the patterns. Now, this happens relatively quickly. In the first 2 to 4 weeks, a meaningful chunk of your strength improvement is basically your brain and nervous system getting better at the exercise. Not your fucking muscles getting bigger. This is also why you feel so fucking sore in week 1 and less sore by week 3. Your body has adapted neurologically and your muscles are experiencing less novel damage. Now, people interpret this as the program has stopped working. It hasn't. It's your body becoming more competent at the movements. Now, that competence is the foundation for where the real work actually starts. Actual hypertrophy, muscle tissue, growth. It's a slower process. Research consistently shows that meaningful, visible changes in muscle size take a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks. And that is 8 to 12 weeks of consistent, progressive training for it to become apparent. And that's 8 to 12 weeks of genuinely progressive training, increasing the stimulus over time, hitting your protein, sleeping adequately. Not 8 to 12 weeks with 2 weeks off and a program switch in the middle. Strength adaptations accumulate in a similar time frame for most people. The compound lifts, squat, deadlift, bench, row, they take time to develop. The movement pattern needs to become deeply ingrained. The muscles and connective tissue needs time to strengthen progressively. You cannot rush this with a different exercise selection. You can only accumulate it over time. The results are happening in weeks 4, 5, 6, 7. They're just happening internally at a cellular level in ways that you can't actually see yet. The person who quits at week 4 walks away from a process that was working. Right, let's talk about the rationalization, because it's the one thing that people use to feel good about quitting. This program isn't optimal for my goals. Okay, first of all, how the fuck do you know that? You've been on it for 3 weeks. You haven't given it enough time to demonstrate what it can actually do. Judging a program at 3 weeks is like leaving a film 3 minutes in and deciding it was a fucking bad film. You don't have enough information yet. Second, and this is the important one, the difference between a good program and an optimal program is much smaller than the difference between any program and no program, or between any program and a program you don't finish. Look, let's face facts, right? There are many ways, good ways, to train. There are many different splits, different frequencies, exercise selections, rep ranges. All of them work. The research does not support the idea that there is one correct program and everything else is inferior. No, that's not how that works. It's not an absolute. Too many people talking fucking absolutes. What the research does support consistently, overwhelmingly, is that adherence is the single most important variable in program effectiveness. A well-designed program that you stick to for 6 months will produce dramatically better results than a perfectly optimized program that you abandon at week 4. Every fucking time. There's no exceptions. The optimization question only becomes relevant once adherence is solved. And for most people, adherence is nowhere near solved. This whole not optimal has always been a secret code for I've lost interest. And losing interest is not the program's problem. It's yours. And it's fixable, but not by switching programs. Boredom is the real reason most people quit programs. Not the rationalization they tell themselves, the boredom that lies underneath. And I want to talk about this properly because boredom is actually useful information if you know how to read it. Boredom in training typically shows up around week 3 to 5. The novelty has worn off. The movements are familiar. The sessions feel routine, and familiar and routine feel to the motivation-seeking brain like they're not working. Because novelty feels like progress and routine feels like stagnation, even when the exact opposite is fucking true. This is the boring middle. Every worthwhile long-term endeavor has one. The bit that doesn't feel exciting, doesn't produce visible results quickly, and requires sustained effort without immediate reward. Most people quit here. The people who don't quit here are the people who go on to build something real. The boring middle in training is not a sign that the program is wrong. It's a sign that the program is fucking working. The adaptation is happening below the surface. The strength is accumulating. The muscle tissue is responding. The process is doing exactly what the fuck it's supposed to do. It just doesn't feel cinematic whilst it's fucking happening. And here's the thing about boredom. Specifically, your brain experiences boredom in proportion to how much it expects novelty. If you've been training in a way that requires consistent new stimulation to sustain engagement, you've essentially trained yourself to need novelty to function. The answer to that is not more novelty. It's weaning yourself off the requirement for it. Turn the fuck up. Do the session. Be fucking bored. Let the boredom be there without acting on it. And then watch what accumulates on the other side of it. I want to make the cost of program hopping concrete because I don't think people have really, sat with it. You lose the neurological adaptation every fucking time you switch to new movements. You reset the learning curve. The movement efficiency your nervous system was building is gone. You start the fuck over. And when you start over, the first few weeks, well, that's that neurological adaptation again, and it's not hypertrophy. You lose progressive overload. What I mean by that is the history of it. Progressive overload, the whole principle of consistently doing slightly more over time, is the primary driver of strength and muscle growth. It requires a stable reference point. If you're doing different exercises every fucking month, you have no consistent baseline to progress from. You cannot progressively overload a fucking squat if you did Bulgarian split squats last month and then a leg press the month before that. You lose connective tissue adaptation. This one's fucking important and underappreciated. Your muscles adapt relatively quickly. Your tendons, ligaments, and joints adapt much more slowly. Over months, we're talking here. If you keep changing movements, your connective tissue never gets the consistent stress it needs to fully adapt and to fully strengthen. This is actually how people get fucking injured. Muscles are strong enough for the load, but those muscles are connected to tendons that haven't had the amount of time that it requires to catch up. And then, God forbid, an injury occurs. You lose psychological evidence. Every time you finish something that you started, you build evidence that you're someone who finishes things. A lot of people are gonna fucking listen to this and think I'm talking trash. But every time you quit early, you build the opposite evidence, and that fucking accumulates. The program hopper, over years, doesn't just lack physical results. They've also built an identity as someone who starts things but don't finish. And that's the identity that makes the next quit easier than the last. Just please understand that the cost of program hopping isn't just inefficiency, it's fucking years. This is the most practical thing I can say, and I want to say it fucking clearly. Program selection matters less than program completion. You want upper, lower, push-pull legs, full body 3 times a week, a bro split, a high frequency approach. All of these work. All of them produce excellent results for people who stick to them long enough. None of them work for people who quit at week 4. Now, the question to ask when choosing a program is not, is this optimal? The question is, can I see myself actually doing this for the next 4 to 6 months? Do the sessions fit your schedule? Do you enjoy, or at least not fucking hate it? Is the frequency manageable with your life? And here's a step further. Is the frequency manageable when shit hits the fan in your life? Or is that going to be one of the reasons why you're like, I can't fucking train today, which drops your frequency? Does the structure make sense to you so you'll actually follow it? If the answer to those programs is fucking yes, that's your program. Not because it's perfect, because you'll finish it. And finishing is everything. And once you finished it, then you can evaluate. Did it deliver? What would you change? What would you do more of? Now you have real information from real experience to make genuinely informed decisions about what comes next. That's different from switching because you got bored in week 3. Right, so here's what helps. Commit to a minimum time frame before you're allowed to evaluate. 12 weeks. Write it down. That's your contract with yourself. For 12 weeks, the program is not up for fucking discussion. No matter what you read, no matter what someone recommends, no matter how bored you get, no matter the YouTube video you see, you're finishing the 12 weeks. And after 12 weeks, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but not before. Maybe stop researching new programs while you're already on one. Seriously. The browsing, the watching, the reading, it manufactures dissatisfaction with what you're currently doing. It creates the feeling that the grass is greener before you've even looked properly at where you're actually fucking standing. If you're on a program, you don't need to know what else is out there. That information isn't useful yet, so maybe don't look for it. Track your progress obsessively, not in the mirror. The mirror lies in short time frames. Track your numbers, what you lifted last week versus this week, what your reps were like last session versus the session that you're currently doing. Strength gains are the evidence that the program is working, and they happen on a timescale you can actually see week to week. The mirror takes fucking longer. The logbook can show you it immediately. If your numbers are going up, the program's working. Keep going. Plan for the boring middle. You know what's coming. Roughly weeks 3 to 6. Training will feel like a routine and unremarkable. Remind yourself this is normal. This is expected. This is when most people fucking quit. And this is when staying matters the most. Knowing that a difficult stretch is coming sometimes makes it easier to just stay in it when it arrives. Change variables, not the program. If you're genuinely stagnating, not bored, actually stagnating, numbers are going nowhere for 3 or more weeks, the answer is usually adjusting a variable within the program. Maybe adding a set. Maybe increasing frequency on a lagging body part. Maybe changing a rep range. Or maybe introducing a fucking deload week. You don't need a new program. You need a small adjustment inside the program you already have. The fitness industry is built on selling you the next thing, the next program, the next system, the next protocol. And it works because people want to believe the problem is the program. Because if the program is wrong, the solution is, well, a new program. That's easy. It's exciting. But if the problem is that you keep quitting, that's harder. Because the solution is you. It's not a product. It's a decision repeated over months to stay with something even when it stops feeling new. The program you're on probably works. You just haven't given it enough of a chance to prove it. Stay on it, track it, finish it, and then, only then, decide what's next. Just remember, whatever you're on right now, give it the full 12 weeks before you even consider about switching. You owe yourself that much.